This year is the 50th anniversary of the film Jaws. One of my favourite films of all time, one of the greatest movies ever made. A masterclass in filmmaking, acting, directing, musical score, suspense, drama. The musical score, of course, by John Williams is absolutely iconic. Steven Spielberg once said, when we were filming and we had difficulties with the mechanical shark, John Williams and John Williams' music became my shark. It's absolutely iconic. When you hear that music, you have that feeling. You know what's coming. It's just a great, great film. The character development. There's no unnecessary exposition. Every scene has a purpose. Even the scenes which are slower, they all lead to the build-up, to the suspense. And there are many, many tender scenes in the film. I love the character development in the movie. Chief Brody, of course, being the main protagonist. And you have the shark as the villain. What a villain. As Alfred Hitchcock once said, if you don't have a villain, if you don't have a strong villain, then you don't have a movie. And that shark in Jaws is a very, very strong villain. And Chief Brody is a protagonist that we can all root for. And that's not the only conflict in the film. What's brilliant about the Jaws story and the way that Steven Spielberg tells the story in the film is there is not only the conflict between Chief Brody and Hooper and Quint and the shark, there are also other conflicts taking place in the film. Philosophical, ethical and moral conflicts. These things help to make a film. For example, one of the essential conflicts in the film is the philosophical dilemma between Chief Brody and the mayor of the town. Chief Brody wants to close the beaches because there's a shark attack and it's dangerous. But the mayor's like, no, we have to keep the town open, keep the beaches open, let people swim in the sea because we need money. We need to make money from tourism. And so you get that. Any great movie has this philosophical debate. So you don't just have the main storyline, which is, okay, how do we defeat the shark? You also have side storylines where there are moral and ethical debates taking place, where one character believes in one set of values and another character believes in a different set of values, and then how do they debate? How do they come to an agreement, or how do they come to a disagreement, or how does one try to overcome the other with intellectual arguments or with moral arguments? And that undertone throughout the film of, do we close the beach? Do we stop people from swimming? Do we lose all the tourist money? And that element gives the film a great moral undertone. And also there are other different philosophies at play even within the final act, with the character of Quint, played brilliantly by Robert Shaw, believing that things should be done one way, and then you have Hooper believing that they should be done a different way, and Chief Brody kind of in the middle, like a referee between the two, trying to appease both parties. So the film is fantastic in that way. Great characters, great actors, and of course a great director, iconic director at the top of his game. Jaws has many iconic moments, many iconic moments. The moment with the dolly zoom effect, of course, when the boy is attacked by the shark and Chief Brody's on the beach, and then you have the dolly zoom effect to get his reaction. It's an iconic moment. The iconic moment where, for me, it's actually my favorite part of the movie actually, is when they think that they're having this big celebration because they've caught a tiger shark, and they think it's the shark, and all the press are gathered, They're in the middle of having this big celebration. You know, they're feeling good about catching a shark. And the mother of the child, the mother of the boy who was attacked by the shark in the previous segment, comes up to Chief Brody, and she's dressed all in black, of course, in her funeral attire, because she is in mourning. And she comes up to Chief Brody and she gives him a slap across the face and says, "You knew that there was a shark, and still you let people swim. And because of that, my boy is dead." And it's such a fantastic scene. It's for me, it's my favorite scene in terms of the acting involved in the whole movie, and in terms of the essence of the moral dilemma at the heart of the film. And it's my favorite scene. And of course, there are other the whole film is full of iconic scenes. The other iconic scene, of course, is when he goes, "I can go slow ahead, come and chomp some of this," and then he sees the shark for the first time, and then the reaction on his face, and he slowly backs up to speak to Quint, and he says to Quint, of course, the iconic line, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Absolutely fantastic stuff. And the triumphant moment at the end when he says, "Smile, you son of a," and then takes the shot, and the shark blows up. Just a brilliant film. 50th anniversary, wow. And in another 50 years, people will still be talking about Jaws, because it's a masterclass. It's a masterclass in filmmaking, and it's just a great film. No matter how many times you see it, you can't get bored of it, and you learn new stuff about it all the time. So absolutely fantastic. I did want to add one more thing. I've actually been lucky enough to have read the original novel by Peter Benchley that the film is based on. And the novel is just as good, if not better. So if you haven't read the Peter Benchley Jaws novel, I highly recommend you read it. It's got elements in the novel, in the book, that are not in the film. The film is pretty much an authentic adaptation of the book. I would say 90% of the way there. There are other elements in the book which are not in the film, and you can understand why, because a film can only be so long. You know, a film needs to be, say, around 2 hours long, but you know, a book can be much longer and can delve deeply into other characteristics and into other elements of storyline. So, but the book moves, even though the book, of course, has extra storylines that are not involved in the film, it still moves at a great pace, and it still has that element of suspense. And even though I had seen the movie first before reading the book, I still found the book fascinating, suspenseful, exciting. So if you haven't read the book, highly recommended reading. And if you haven't seen the film, why? Go and see the film. Okay, guys, I'll see you on the next one.